So today's a good day. We have a car. Oh, I love that little starter. Slowly does it. Let's go for a bit of a drive. Tell you what we got. Okay, so let's talk about the new car. It is a Fiat Uno. Perfect test bed for a turbo because it is in almost every way a turbo, just no turbo. So it has the 1.4 motor. It has the same head as the Gen 1 Fiat Punto GT or Fiat Uno Turbo Mark II. It has electric windows. It has the Momo steering wheel. It's two-door. It's immensely blue everywhere. Don't know yet how I feel about that. So for those that know the importance of this steering wheel, I guess I don't really need to tell you. And for those that don't know the importance of the steering wheel, I guess I don't really need to tell you either. But I clearly like the sound of my own voice, so I'm going to tell you anyway. This steering wheel is a Momo, and it was put in the Uno Turbos and a few of the other sportier models, and it is a genuine, authentic Momo. And these come with huge price tags these days, especially if they're in this condition. For the Uno Turbo, there were two red lines either end of the centerpiece. That's the only real sort of difference. Otherwise, it is the same wheel. I don't actually really mind it. I'm not a fan actually of the red. I prefer this solid black. So now I'd like to talk about this car because I'm actually so impressed with this thing. It is genuinely great. I mean, it's straight, hands off the steering wheel. There's no shutters, as you can hear. There's no vibrations, and I'm not even on a very, like, even straight off. Nothing vibrates, just the noise from the tires. These brakes though, you know, that's terrifying. I guess it does add to the element of it, you know. Ooh, danger, we might crash and die. And that's happened quite a lot actually. Yeah, it's quite alarming. I'm going to try and do, actually let's do an emergency brake from 60. That was full down, no lockup, no ABS. That's a little bit scary.
Given that rather poor demonstration of braking, mixed with the fact that we're putting the Punto GT motor in there, I thought it responsible to check the brakes a little bit more, maybe up the ante, increase the speed, and really understand just how bad the brakes are. And this is what happened.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go that way, wait for a gap with no cars, and then come back this way. The speed limit on this road is 80, so I'm going to be doing about 80, 85, let's see. And I'm going to brake as I pass the camera, so then you will see me hopefully stop and see how far I go. Let's do this. Coming up to the braking point. Now. That was full on the brakes. Hopefully I didn't break my iPad. No cars coming from either way. Let's get a bit of a pull off. Wow. Oh, this car stinks of all kinds of things.
And of course, any experiment worth doing once is worth doing a bunch of times.
Okay, we're going to do the brake test now. I'm not sure if I'll hit 100 on this road. We need really long roads to do stuff like that. and stops. I'm on the brakes. Not that hard. Ooh, so much brake fade. Oh. Okay, so now that we've furnished ourselves with some good information, we know how quickly it stops, or in this case slows down. We know that the vehicle weighs 840 kilograms because I've actually managed to have it weighed, and we know that it has 70 horsepower from the factory because it's as advertised. So using that, we can calculate that the car has 83.3 horsepower per ton, which is actually not a lot, but again, not that bad. And we know that it needs quite a handsome distance to slow down. So we can take this information and we can start playing with the acceleration of the vehicle and seeing how long it takes to gain speed now that we know how long it takes to lose speed. So let's get going with that. I'm probably going to mention the brakes a lot coming up. Performance. It actually has some. I'm going to give it that. The thing is, this car has 70 horses, as indicated by this lovely little badge. I'd love to have one 3D printed that has the new horsepower number and put it on the side of the car. That would be pretty cool. Maybe I can even get that same silver tint in the blue plastic. Who knows? Look at this. Driving along 50 kilometers an hour, 5th gear. Perfect. Put my foot down and it pulls. Up to 60. Just like that. This thing is amazing. So with regards to the power band of these cars, yes, the Uno turbos are substantially faster and a lot more powerful, but when you're in the low revs, this is definitely stronger. Of course, the turbo motors have very low compression ratios, and when you're at 1000 or 1500 RPM, you have no boost. On the standard turbo you probably do, but yeah, that's not going to stick around, is it? So you notice, like, you know, when you're doing 45, 50 kilometers an hour in 5th gear, you've actually got usable power. You can actually accelerate. Amazingly, you can even gain speed uphill at very low speeds in very high gears. You cannot do that in a turbo. Speaking of, I need to accelerate. Doing a from stationary pull. Straightening up. Okay, let me show you the clocks. Okay. So just to show the motor in a bit more detail, so you can see this black cover here that covers the cam belt that runs down here. So the cam belt runs inside there. You can see the cam box cover that runs here. The only real difference is the oil filler is on this side on this car and it's on this side on the turbo. Here you can actually see the cam case. If you notice, the head is the same as the head on the Uno Turbo. The distributor here is different, so this plate that bolts onto here is sort of an ended off part in the turbo. Over here it actually does the distributor to give spark, but on the pacer there is something that uses those spacings there to bolt down to then give distribution of spark. It is the same starter motor, as you can see, the same gearbox. The Uno Turbo bumper will have slits down at the bottom for the oil and intercoolers. Of course this one does not have those, so it's just a straight off. And the two sort of indented cutouts underneath the headlights over here are on the turbo removed, and there are fog lights in that bumper. This is a cold air breathing port for the alternator. That interestingly is the same on both, because of course the exhaust comes out just over there, so there's a lot of heat generated down here. This is of course a carburetor, as you can see here. The Uno Turbos comes out and over, and then the boost pipe comes over the top and connects in from that side. And where this washer fluid bottle is generally where the microplex system will sit, and then the MS meter or airflow box, whatever you want to call it, will sit here with a pipe that then goes over the top of the radiator, and the airbox will sit over here. Closing off a very successful day driving around and just falling back in love with this Italian scamp